What's up, my Makokos, Raid Pros, and Bonk Bros? Defender here, and welcome back to another video. Thank you again for all your continued support. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are what's keeping me here, what's keeping me creating content, and without you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. And you guys are blowing up my comments, you're hitting me up on Twitter, I'm loving the interaction with the polls. I'm really looking forward to all the new content because it means we can keep discussing and growing together. So thank you very much for sticking with me as we continue to make content. Now, today I've got a big one because it's very time sensitive, and we're going to be talking about the Brelshaza release being next week, pending the servers can handle us logging in and staying in. Hopefully we get an update on that as we go. But we're going to be talking about Brelshaza release, the summoner class, and bracelets, and everything you need to do in the next 5 to 6 days before any of that happens. Because these next 5 days to 6 days, depending on when you're watching it, are going to be the most crucial part of your prep. You've probably been working up to this now without knowing a release date, so maybe you've been honing your characters up to the gate levels you wanted to go to. Maybe you've been trying to catch up on the eye levels before so you can be ready. Maybe you've been stockpiling for summoner's release. Or maybe you've just been hoarding up on your resources so that you can sell them with the update. Whatever it is, today we're going to be talking about all of that, and we're going to be covering the best ways that you can be ready with these next 5 days to take advantage of all of those topics. So, starting with Brelshaza, as my previous videos have discussed, if you haven't watched them already, I'll leave a link in the description below, and I'll put a timestamp up now for you. If you haven't seen them already, the eye level that you need to be is 1490. Now, there isn't a hard mode released with this yet. That's going to be coming down the line with Ancient Gear, but for now, 1490 is the entry level for the first 2 gates of Brelshaza, and then we have 1500 for gates 3 and 4, and 1520 for gates 5 and 6, respectively. So if you wanted to do the raid, you need to at least be 1490 off the bat. And I would say if you're sitting at 1490, you're probably going to need to find a group, a guild, or a static, or all of the above beforehand, so that you're not left looking for people on the day of release or in the first week of release. That being said, don't FOMO, don't rage hone, don't swipe just to catch up to the 1490 benchmark for week 1. Content isn't going to go anywhere, and we don't need to finish it day 1. We don't need to spam through like a bunch of tryhards and make sure the content is on farm in the first week. That defeats the purpose of enjoying the game and progressing and having a good time learning things. So don't feel like you need to hit those marks, and don't feel like you need to get through that content the first week just because some people that have read guides online and been sitting at 1520, 1575, whatever the whales are doing, are ready for day 1. You don't need that. The content isn't going to go anywhere, and we're going to have plenty of time before Ancient Gear and hard mode comes out down the line. Okay, so we've talked about the eye level. Let's talk about the next 5 days. Now, if you aren't already 1490, that should be your immediate goal. Okay, so your immediate goal is to get to that eye level within reason. Okay, if you're not, that's fine, but that should be your immediate goal because it's going to unlock everything that we're talking about today. Okay, so let's say you get to 1490, you're ready for the day 1 raid. What you need to do as an overall for your account is start saving rest bonus. Okay, so rest bonus is going to be huge, and that's not for the raid specifically. Sorry, Iggy's pushing around under the table, moving the camera. That's not specifically for the raid, but it's going to be for a couple of things. Okay, so yes, it's going to help you in the raid, but also it's going to help you financially. It's going to help you with your RNG. It's going to help you with your odds against the bracelet. The bracelet is going to be one of the biggest things that's coming with the update, and in order to make sure you maximize your efficiency with getting bracelets, rest bonus is your friend. Okay, so 1490, start saving rest bonus from this Friday. Okay, so we need to work backwards from the next weekly reset to start saving rest bonus. And with Chaos Dungeons and Guardian raids, let's go back from Wednesday. So Tuesday rest bonus, Monday rest bonus, Sunday rest bonus, Saturday rest bonus, and Friday rest bonus. Okay, so that's 5 days of rest bonus. Each day gives you 20 of this rest bonus because you're not doing 2 instances of each, and that's going to give you 100 rest bonus for both the Chaos Dungeons and the Guardian raids respectively. Okay, so stop doing all of these dailies, these 2 dailies, as of Friday. Don't touch them on Friday, leave them until the weekly reset. That can be quite difficult, I know, because you might need the honor shards, or you might just be in a routine of doing these dailies. And maybe you have a weekly that needs you to do it to take advantage of the Unas. just don't touch them, okay? You will thank me in the future because the bracelets are gonna be your best friend. And having rest bonus to double your odds of bracelet drops, to double your odds of drops across the board, not just for bracelet, but for the new tier 3 soft reset materials. We're going to have the new stones, so the new destruction and guardian stones. We're going to have the new greater leap stones. So you're going to want to have those rested. You will thank me in the future for doing this, okay? So please make sure you start resting these too. And the other one is Una's. Okay, so Una's works a little bit differently from the other 2 dailies, and it's going to give you rest bonus, 30 rest bonus per day, because you'd get 10 from each one you don't do, and we do 3 a day, and we need to get to 100. So it's going to be 3 days and 1 extra Una. Okay, so you could technically just go up to Tuesday, Monday, and Sunday as 3. Okay, and Saturday you would just do 2 of your Unas. But if you don't want to keep track of that, just stop doing your Unas as of Saturday, or do yours on Friday. Then remember, no more Unas on the weekend onwards, and that will have you rested, fully rested for Unas. And the best thing with Unas is right now we get so you can get great honors. Okay, these are going to change, I believe. I'm just hypothesizing here. They're going to be changing into the greater honor leap stones, or whatever the name will be with the translation. The next tier up from this one, I'll put a screenshot of what it looks like, and they should be coming the next one up for us if you're 1490 plus. We might even have some new Unas as well with some different rewards. Who knows? Either way, save that rest bonus as well. Those are the 3 rest bonuses you need to make sure you take care of, okay? So stop doing those 3 as of Friday for the Chaos and the Guardians, and Saturday onwards for the Unas. That's just the safest way to approach it. And whilst we're on the topic of Brelshaza, a few other things that we're going to need to do. If you're raiding, make sure you have plenty of battle items ready. You're going to be needing battle items, and I don't know which ones you're going to need for the instances, but let's just say, your normal regular ones that we like in abundance are, things like HP potions obviously are a must. Don't burn through the top ones whilst you're progressing. Make sure you're using something more suitable, like the blue ones here, the major ones. They're good for learning progression. And then once you're familiar with progression, you can then move on to the purple ones. Once you know that you can actually get a kill attempt, or maybe you want to progress further towards a kill attempt. Okay, so start with blues and then work into purples. Make sure that you also have lots of things like whirlwinds, dark grenades, destructions, time stops. These are all the kind of generic ones that it's recommended to have across the board. Now, I don't know specifically what you're going to need, but I would just say if you don't know, and I haven't already described what you need, just start saving the battle chests. We get these very, very often given to us in login rewards. So you might already be getting some from the login rewards, and also we get them from things like Twitch drops, the weekend bonuses that we get for logging in. I can't remember what the term is for that. The weekend warrior, essentially, whatever it is. Now, the next thing that is kind of a must, and it's the reason someone is going to struggle a little bit with Brelshaza on day 1, even if you're ready, is make sure that you are geared, okay? So what I mean by that is make sure that you have the 6-piece relic, the very least on a character, except obviously Summoner, because it's coming out on the same day. It can't be achieved. Make sure that you've got your all of your relic gear, okay? And make sure that your engravings and your accessories are correctly distributed, so that you're not hindering the group. Now, I don't know, obviously it depends on what you play, but 4x3 to 5x3 is the desired kind of range that you need depending on your class, and also make sure you have the appropriate cards and decent gems. As you can see, I split my gems between all my alts, so I like to have a lot of level 7s across all of my other main roster. These all have 7s, 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 and I believe these are 5s. So obviously my main is lacking a little bit in the gem department, but it's enough for Brelshaza to have some 7s and 8s. And then also, obviously, make sure that you have decent quality accessories. You're not sitting at really, really low stats, especially if you're a specialization class that requires high stats. And also, don't be running meme engravings. I don't want to see people like an Igniter Sork running stabilized status and disrespect because it's cheaper. You're not going to be helping the group, and it's probably going to get you trolled and memed on a lot. Okay, so try to avoid that as well. And before you get into the raid, with the rest bonus that I was talking about at 1490, try and get yourself a bracelet. And now, it doesn't have to be the God Roll bracelet because it's only going to be relic. We don't have ancient yet. You don't have to get yourself a God Roll piece, but just try and get something with stats that benefit you. Okay, so for me, for example, just off the bat, I'm looking for something that's got crit and specialization, and that's just because those are the two stats that I built into. So it would be silly for me to get something like endurance or swiftness or expertise because it doesn't sit on top of the stuff I'm already building. Okay, and then there are lots of different effects that the bracelets can have. Some of them are passive, some of them are active, some of them knock on effect to the ones previously on there. So you might have one that has to trigger before the next one can trigger, and that's a bit like conviction and judgment runes. I'm going to do a video in the next couple of days before Brelshaza talking about bracelets so that you guys know what to look for with your bracelets, and maybe you know what's valuable as well, because there is a big potential in selling bracelets as well to make a lot of money in the first couple of weeks before everyone starts to get on top of them. And that's where the rest bonus, again, is your best friend. And whilst we're talking about bracelets, the other thing to consider is that bracelets are going to cost Pheons. All right, I would assume that they're going to have a Pheon cost linked to them, as does everything on this right side of the page, right, including stones, unfortunately. Now, I'm going to say, if you don't get yourself a good bracelet, or you're going to be looking for a bracelet on the market, it's going to cost you Pheons as well as gold. So make sure that you have at least some Pheons in reserves. Now, whether that means from the login bonuses, because there are some at the moment in the login, whether it's from the vendors that were around every week, whether it's from going on the store and converting crystals to Pheons, whatever you do, make sure you have some Pheons, okay? I don't know how much they're going to cost, but I would wager somewhere between 15 to 25 Pheons per bracelet, maybe even more. I don't know how much AGS are going to make us pay for it, but just make sure you have at least some Pheons in reserve. 50 to 60 is probably going to be enough to get you a couple of bracelets for a couple of characters. So make sure you have some of those in reserve, and obviously the gold to pay for them as well, because people are going to start charging a fortune for them. So that brings me to making sure you have enough currencies in reserve for either your honing, if you're honing to get to different gates, or honing for alternate characters. Make sure you have currency in reserve, whether it's silver, gold, your materials, etc. Make sure you have plenty of that stocked up, even though now is a good time to invest in engravings. Okay, make sure you're doing a good strategic split of how your resources are ready for that next week. Okay, so we've covered Brelshaza, we've covered the bracelet. Whilst I'm talking about rest bonus, also, there is currently a login reward for Aura of Resonance. Do not use that yet, okay? It's going to last you for 2 weeks once you redeem it from the store. From the login reward. I've just got it, I believe, 2 days ago. Do not use that. I believe it was yesterday, actually, sorry. Do not use that yet. Wait until you get the Brelshaza update next week. You could run 2 of your chaoses to use up 2 of your rest bonuses, use it again, and use up 2 of your rest bonuses again on the first day. So the first day you're going to be able to go through 80 rest bonus, 4 chaos dungeons, double loot, and have plenty and plenty of drops. Hopefully some of it can make you some money. Okay, let's move on to the other side of the topic for today whilst we're talking about the countdown, and that is the Summoner. Okay, so we're getting a new class release, Summoner, and that's coming out the same day as the Brelshaza update. A little bit cap. I know it's unfortunate for people that want to play Summoner that they're going to have to wait a little bit before they can jump into the Brelshaza content, unless they're super giga juiced with all of their resources stocked, the Hyper Express, and a party that's willing to play with them even though they're going to be subpar to other characters. And what I mean by subpar, I don't mean the class is subpar, because it's not. It's definitely up there in some of the best damage potential. What I mean is your tripods are going to be low. Your engravings aren't going to be 5x3 on day 1 unless you really stockpile your accessories now and transfer it for Pheon costs. Your combat level is going to be low as well, because there's no way you're going to get to 60 combat level on the first day. I don't care how much you get saved in advance. It's just not going to happen. And also, you're going to be learning that class, okay? So your skill points, whilst the combat levels are lower, are going to be doing less damage. Maybe you haven't got all the runes sorted for it. You're not going to have a plus 12 engraving off the bat as well, unless you really pump into the market day 1 and buy the outrageously high prices for it. It's just not going to look good, because you're also not going to have 6-piece relic or a level 2 set of the 6-piece relic from doing clown. These things aren't physically achievable no matter how good of a gamer you are. So unless you have a good guild or static willing to play with your summoner class because of its synergy and the fact that they don't mind playing with that class because they're your friends, it's not likely that you'll play on Summoner in the raids in the first week. If you do, I'd love to see how you get on. Please don't feel discouraged by this. See it more as a challenge if you really want to play it, if it's your main that you want to play. But whilst we're talking about Summoner, the best things you can do before the update to get ready for it are, firstly, make a Summoner. Okay, so make sure you have a mage class made. Start the story where you load into Trixion, and that's enough. And what that's going to do is that's going to start accruing rest bonus, okay? And rest bonus for that character is going to be crucial. It's going to be priceless. You're going to wish you'd done it early if you hadn't already. And it's the same principle as the rest bonus for the Chaoses and the Guardians for the Brelshaza bracelet prep. 5 days in advance, so make sure as of Friday, so including Friday this week, make sure you've already made a mage, and it will start making that rest bonus over those 5 days. Okay, and now once you've done that, the next thing to do is to start saving resources. Now, if you haven't used the Hyper Express, like myself, I haven't used it yet, so it is still here. I'm going to be using the Hyper Express. It's going to push it to 1302, and then it's going to help me get to 1445. I'm not looking to raid on day one. I just want to juice it based on how my Twitter interactions have gone. We voted to play Summoner next, so we're going to give it a go and have a lot of fun. But make sure if you haven't used the Hyper Express, you use that. And if you have used it already, then you're going to be having to push manually without any assistance. So make sure you have plenty of gold. Make sure you look at spreadsheets to give you an idea of the costs and the materials you're going to need to get to certain eye level brackets. I've got a spreadsheet I linked in some previous videos by Nabsy, who does a cost analysis where you can put in your numbers, put in how many of each material maybe you've been saving. So I could put all this, for example, into the Nabsy spreadsheet. I could put in how much gold I have. I could put in all of these bonus resources here, and I could put in all these bonus resources here. And then it's going to tell me how much I'm likely to get up to without paying for resources on the market. And then also how much gold I'm going to need and silver to do those hones and buy the necessary materials I still need. Maybe to get to 1500, maybe to get to 1520, 1490, whatever the goal is, okay? And bear in mind that you need to be at least 1415 to start putting relic accessories in, and 1445 to buy the relic armor gear as well. So those are the things to start getting ready. Also, it will be worth, in my opinion, it will be worth buying the accessories in advance if you're really dead set on playing Summoner, because the prices for things like Hitmaster, Grudge, Curse Doll, Keen Blunt Weapon, Adrenaline, these things are going to skyrocket with specialization on them if you haven't already bought them as soon as the Summoner releases. Also the stones as well are going to skyrocket, but you can't do much about the stones because you cannot trade them once you buy them, so you can't buy them now and give them to your Summoner when she's leveled. But the accessories you can just by paying the double Pheon cost, and sometimes that net works out a lot cheaper than buying them on the Summoner and paying more gold and not paying the double Pheons. So if you see a good piece of gear on the auction house now for a decent price, and you have the Pheons for a double transfer and it can be traded twice, please consider it, because you won't regret it in the future, because prices are going to skyrocket for the Summoner gear, and also obviously you need to pay for the engravings down the line as well. So those are more things to pay for. Now, in terms of both Brelshaza and the Summoner, I suppose if you're catching it up to the new soft reset with Brelshaza, is the requirements when you're honing and also for making money for people that are also trying to hone, is that we're having a new fusion material similar to that of the Arias and the Caldare fusion materials that you probably craft yourself because it's the cheapest way to do it. So what we're doing is we're adding a layer on top of this fusion material, and it's going to use the same ones that we already use from fishing, hunting and excavating. So if you have one of these three leveled up, focus on farming that material now before the patch comes through, and then learn the new recipe from your research here, and then you'll be able to craft it day one for yourself and to make some profit off others on the market that don't have the research done. And you can even get ahead of the curve even further by saving up a bunch of your acceleration chips here and stronghold energy, so that on day one you have enough energy to start crafting the research. You can force skip the research with the acceleration chips and then start crafting the new fusion, and then force skip the fusion crafting time as well with the acceleration chips. As you can see here, I've got a lot of almost 200 chips saved now, so that when that happens, I can just spam as many fusions as I need to, and then when I want to craft, I'm already set. And also, if I wanted to sell and the market is booming on fusion materials because people need them and they don't have the research done, or they don't have the life skills to gather the research because people don't do trade skills for some reason in this game, then I'm winning either way. I can either make a profit or sort myself out on my character and save having to buy materials myself. So it's ticking both boxes, and it's something you should definitely do in the next 5 days whilst you have time, whilst you have the life skill energy. Just go and quickly spend, I don't know, 20 minutes per day or an hour of all of your trade skill energy, and just focus one of those three, one of these bottom three here, gathering all the materials and being ready to craft some. Okay, nothing more to it than that. Obviously, the more you save from the acceleration chips, the better you're looking as well. The very, very last thing I want to talk about in this countdown in the final week that I think a lot of people aren't really recognizing, and it's really important, is don't burn out. Just don't burn out. Don't stress over this last week countdown. Yes, a lot of people take it seriously because they really want to enjoy the new content, and it's the big update that we're waiting for since a lot of people started playing the game. But don't burn out, okay? It's a game. You're supposed to be having fun. It's about enjoying the content that you play. Take it slower. These 5 days of rest period on your dailies is actually a really good opportunity to maybe just take a break from playing so much, or maybe just enjoy the Legion raids and not worry about the daily minutia and the daily grind. Okay, just relax, enjoy the game, maybe practice with your group of 8 doing some of the farmable raids, or just the groups of 4. Have some fun. Maybe play a different game for a little bit. It's a great time now before the big spike in content that you're going to be diving into to just sit back, take a breather. Don't worry about this daily grind of having to get everything done every single day before the update to make the most out of what's coming. Okay, yes, it's going to be fantastic to put in all that work beforehand, but I think your mental health is more important. Just to relax, take a breather, do less now because it's still going to pay off. And this rest bonus is a fantastic tool that we can use to our advantage with the bracelets and the Brelshaza update. And I hope you guys are looking forward to it. If you're not ready for it, don't worry. It's not going to go anywhere. People are still going to be playing that content for months to come. As you can see with Volton, Volton is still played every single day by thousands and thousands of people. And it's been out for a long time now. Same as Argos every week as well. Okay, so just remember, it's not going anywhere. You don't need to get into it day one. Take your time, enjoy the game, try and catch up as best you can with the tools they put in for catching up, which are really, really good, and just kind of learn the game, understand the game, kind of take your time, find a good group, and don't worry about getting in there as fast as possible, okay? There's going to be plenty of opportunity, and there's going to be lots of people looking for groups constantly as well. Lots of people don't have statics and guilds that they play with, so just remember that as well. Lots of people are going to be in the same boat, so you're not alone. All right, and that's everything for the video today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time. I hope you guys are enjoying the final week countdown. I hope you guys are prepped, you know, relaxing, and that you're enjoying the game, and that you're not burning out, because burnout is the biggest killer for anybody with an MMO. So just don't do it. You know, if you feel yourself starting to get a bit fed up of the dailies and feeling like it's a chore or a job, just stop. Take a deep breath, stop, relax. And find something else to do that's more enjoyable for now, because it's a video game. We're supposed to enjoy it. All right, and that's everything for today, guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful time, and I will see you in the next video before Brelshaza. Okay, take care. And remember, guys, if you're new to the channel, please consider dropping a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I'd really appreciate that. It helps me push the content out to more people. And if you also always appreciate it, wouldn't you, Bubba? You say thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Oh, you're so shy. You're such a shy baby. You say bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you in the next one.